Today, the Republican-led House Oversight Committee met to decide whether to hold Hunter Biden in contempt of Congress for violating a congressional subpoena. And we already did a video about the fact that Hunter Biden crashed the hearing. But even after he left, the circus continued. We could probably do 3 or 4 videos on this hearing, as a matter of fact. But in this video, I want to play several clips of House Democrats taking the gloves off and really taking the fight to Republicans on terms that only Republicans tend to fight. And it is glorious, and we need to see more of it. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert buttons before you go. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, friends, we have several clips to look at, and it was tough to narrow all this down because there were many, many, many more we could play, but I tried to narrow it to the greatest hits. This is a picture. This is a picture which encapsulates the hearing. That is the Republican chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, a doofus, a hypocrite, an imbecile, face palming because the entire thing turned out to be a clown show, as many of his hearings often do. So it's the perfect encapsulation, a distillation in a single image of what this hearing became. So first up is House Democrat Jasmine Crockett, who again just gets really blunt with the Republicans about why Hunter Biden doesn't want to comply with the subpoena and wants to take them up on the Republicans' offer, their repeated offer to testify in public.
Let me tell you why nobody wants to talk to y'all behind closed doors, because y'all lie. That's just the bottom line. You have done it thus far in this investigation. You have done it this far as it relates to this committee. In every single hearing, y'all spin, spin, spin. I don't know how y'all are still standing right now, because you should be quite dizzy from all the spinning that you're constantly doing when it comes to spinning the truth. You talk about free and fair elections, but you back a guy who we know tried to steal the election. And this isn't about what Democrats have to say. Let me remind you, for those of you that don't know how the justice system works, it's not a matter of the president went in and indicted Trump, but we are talking about grand juries. Grand juries are comprised of American citizens, and the people that have entered pleas of guilty that will be flipping on your leader in a minute, they are Republicans. I do want to point that out. And half of them were Republicans that were handpicked by Donald Trump himself. So, to be clear, whatever happens to your little leader, it's going to be because of the actions that he took. So you can talk all you want to about how January 6th was nonsense, but all of y'all were running at that time. Y'all were grabbing y'all's gas masks and y'all were running to your offices because you didn't know if they were coming to kill you.
That's Jasmine Crockett, a freshman Democrat from Texas. I love her. She's perfect. She's amazing. This freshman class of Democratic Congress people, they're amazing. If this is the future of the party, we are in just enormous advantage. The future of this party is assured if people like this with their energy take the reins. Another great freshman Democrat is Jared Moskowitz, who is also a frequent subject of this channel. He also sticks it to the Republicans really where it hurts. And this is in reference to Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican MAGA congresswoman, and her very salacious comments about Democrats, Hunter Biden, President Biden, and others. He fights her on her terms, and he wins easily.
And so, again, because the gentle lady from Georgia, I know is such an advocate for women's rights, as she mentioned, and is so concerned about grooming, and apparently we don't have any standards here anymore. Again, I just want to remind my colleagues, because, I don't want them to forget about hypocrisy, okay? I don't want them to forget about hypocrisy. But, Donald Trump was asked about Jeffrey Epstein. And when he was asked, he said, Jeffrey likes him young. Well, how did the president know that? How did he know that Jeffrey Epstein likes him young? Perhaps some people are saying he was there.
I'll also point right there, just sidebar, behind Jared Moskowitz is Rashida Tlaib, a Democratic congresswoman, and she's smiling at what Moskowitz is doing. So I'm hoping, because I think that there were rumors that the two were perhaps at odds over the Israel-Palestine situation. So hopefully this is a sign of camaraderie and unity among the Democratic conference.
Since you're so concerned, right? But again, I bring this up not to make jest. I bring it
Point
up,
of order, Mr. Chairman.
I bring it up I thought we weren't going to interrupt.
We're going to stop the clock. We did this with Ms. Green. State your point.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the impugning of the former president's character. That
I don't have to do that. He does that himself.
Have we basically thrown that rule out? I'm just curious, or are we going to follow that rule?
Would you accept a pornographic photo?
Of Bill Clinton?
Yeah, we suspended the rule to the current president, but we didn't suspend it to the former president. But.
Oh, by the way, please, so you're making the point that we can disparage Joe
right.
Biden, but not Donald Trump. Please make that point to the American people.
Great. Just an absolutely great exchange all the way. Again, hitting them where it hurts, fighting them on their terms. Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, in previous hearings and in this hearing, shared pornographic images of Hunter Biden. So Moskowitz is willing to get down in the mud with her and throw it back by pointing out Donald Trump's long association with Jeffrey Epstein and throwing it back. And you hear a couple of Republicans cry foul. You can't impugn the character of Donald Trump. And the same Republicans say, but we can impugn the character of President Biden. We lifted the rule for Biden. We didn't lift it for Trump. That's not fair. You hear Jamie Raskin also fire back. Okay, well, would you prefer a pornographic image? And then you hear a Republican go, well, if Bill Clinton, like Bill Clinton's running for office, or like many Democrats like consider Bill Clinton an idol. Plenty of Democrats criticize Bill Clinton for his associations and for various aspects of his presidency. But again, I love bringing the energy. But Moskowitz doesn't stop there.
That now it doesn't work. You come up here and talk about Hunter Biden's behavior, and you're so disgusted. But the guy that you all kneel to, okay, associates himself with a pedophile. But remember, I get
Mr.
it.
Chairman,
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, that should be stricken.
I ask his words taken
A
down.
statement
That
of a
should be
fact, and it's his
stricken.
time.
It's
Mr.
a
Chairman.
fact.
I ask his words to be taken
Okay,
down.
there's a motion to strike the words.
Yeah.
Yes.
On what
Mr.
grounds? On what grounds?
To say that we associate with pedophiles.
No, he was referring to Donald Trump.
No, I said Donald Trump
The man just
associate.
said that we all kneel. I kneel to Christ. I stand for the flag.
Support?
And if you're concerned about
I'll
pornography
change my-
being
I'll
shown
change
in
my word
public,
to support,
Mr.
Mr.
Ranking Member, you might look to
No,
the
fair
library
point. No,
content
okay.
that your people
So
support.
you're referring to the kneel down. Donald Trump said that
I
someone
moved for
took the
his
knee.
words to be taken down.
And I think he withdrew
It's
that.
a motion.
I withdraw my
He withdrew it. He withdrew that.
Do you see how easily triggered these Republicans are? Good. I like that Moskowitz and others are, again, sticking it to Republicans on their terms. Republicans in Congress are morally and intellectually inferior, and they're fragile, infinitely more fragile than elected Democrats. And Democrats fight these rhetorical battles with one hand tied behind their backs. And we need to stop doing it. We need to get mean. We need to get ruthless. We need to show them you can either play politics civilly, and we will too, and we can hash this out in like a West Wing utopia in good faith, which is ideal, right? If we're going to deal with a Republican Party, to have some mutual good faith and litigate good faith disagreements for the benefit of the American people. Or if you're going to get nasty and mean and cruel, then we can just get nasty and mean and cruel with you too. And actually, we're better at it than you because we have more ammunition, metaphorically speaking, than you, given that your cult leader, Donald Trump, is a known associate of people like Jeffrey Epstein. Joe Biden isn't. I digress. Another clip here.
I ask unanimous consent to enter information for the record.
What's the information?
Oh, my God.
State the information.
Thank you.
I reserve the right to object. The minority has not provided a copy of the material for the record. In the past, she's displayed pornography. Is pornography allowed to be, or pornographic photos allowed to be displayed in this committee room, Mr. Chairman?
It's not pornography.
Okay, well, you're the expert. I'll
So that's Jamie Raskin, again, who is objectively smarter than every Republican in that committee, smarter, better than all of them, and quicker in terms of like wit too. Whereas Marjorie Taylor Greene struggles with phrases like unanimous consent because she's an imbecile who should be mocked relentlessly. This is how she handles it. She gets very upset.
I'm not an expert, Mr. Raskin.
Seems like it.
Mr. Chairman, I object to the unanimous
Mr. Chairman,
request.
Mr. Chairman.
I'm not an expert, Mr. Raskin, and then is just stunned into silence because, again, she's just so utterly outmatched. Another great clip from Jamie Raskin and an exchange with Byron Donald, a Florida Republican who in a previous House Oversight Committee introduced false evidence, doctored evidence against Joe Biden and Hunter Biden.
There's no hotel exception, Mr. Donald, to the Foreign Emoluments Clause. There's no international real estate syndicate exception to the Foreign Emoluments Clause, Mr. Donald. And also, I will take you up on your challenge.
And he's referring to the Emoluments Clause violation, which says that, listen, if you're a president or you're a government official and you receive a gift from or any sort of like compensation or payment of any kind from any sort of like foreign official or foreign body, you need to report it to Congress first and get Congress's permission. Trump didn't do that when he was president and received nearly at least $8 million from various foreign powers for his businesses. So that's what they're referring to, the Trump Hotel being the primary vector for that.
To see whether the Trump Hotel in Washington, the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, the Trump Hotel on Fifth Avenue, the Trump Hotel at UN Plaza, the four of the more than 500 businesses that we got documentation for, whether they actually had the same level of business coming from Saudi Arabia, the communist bureaucrats of China, who were the leading spender, as you know, if you've read our report, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, India, Egypt, and so on. We will make that comparison about what was done before if you get the chairman to call off the ban on further documents coming from Mazars. So
have you ever stayed at a Trump hotel, Mr. Raskin?
Excuse no, and I never would stay at a Trump hotel. I've got too much self-respect and concern for hygiene.
He has too much self-respect and concern for hygiene. Again, I just love the energy. One more clip from Jamie Raskin to top it off.
And in my experience, some of those people up there did not receive a subpoena and so notified counsel for your bogus J6 committee.
Well, first of all, every court in the land has rejected the claim there was anything bogus about it. As you know, the courts rejected the idea that it was somehow...
Was it heard before every court in the land?
Every court that heard it, do you have any authority on your side for that outrageous proposition? I know you'd like to believe it, but your fantasies are not the law of the United States.
I have great fantasies.
I'm certain you do. And you and Ms. Green might want to discuss them together.
Yeah,
I have great fantasies. I'm sure you do. You and Miss Green, the pornography-obsessed Marjorie Taylor Greene, might want to discuss them together. Again, this is just a smattering. This is just a smattering of the great viral moments that aren't particularly substantive. There are plenty of those in this hearing, too, where Democrats just ruthlessly, persistently, line by line, debunk the lies and the claims for Republicans. This is just fun. This is just Democrats playing hardball, throwing metaphorical elbows, getting down in the mud, and giving it back to Republicans who abuse Democrats' impulse to be endlessly civil. I wish we lived in a world where our politics was truly civil, where we could just litigate good faith disagreements with one another. If that time ever existed, it is long gone. You can't do it. In order to have a good faith exchange with somebody, both parties have to be good faith. If you and I have a conversation and you act in good faith and I don't, by definition, we've had a bad faith exchange because it requires two of us. Democrats, certainly these freshman Democrats, and even elder statesmen like Jamie Raskin seem to be starting to get that maybe 100% of the time Democrats shouldn't turn the other cheek or do the Michelle Obama ethic, when they go low, we go high. Maybe from time to time, maybe regularly from time to time, we need to show that if we need to get down in the mud and grapple, we can do that too, and we're actually better at it. Anyway, I hope this video hypes you up as much as it did me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you like this? Do you want to see more of it? Or maybe you want to see less? Let me know what you think in the comments.